Hello, welcome to Local Matters. My name is Vicki Evans. Rotarian cyclists will hit the pavement along with 9,000 riders from around the world in this year's El Tour de Tucson, a charity bike ride sponsored by the University Medical Center in Tucson. They are raising money to end polio. More than 1 million Rotarians worldwide believe that changing the world starts with a commitment to service above self. Let's learn more as we welcome Ernie Montagne. And Ernie is a past district governor with Rotary District 5500. And then we also welcome Charlotte Harris.
Thank you.
And Charlotte is a past assistant district governor with Rotary District 5500. And again, thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
So with 1 million members, or 1 million plus, tell us a little something, Ernie, about Rotary International.
Well, thank you, Vicki. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, Rotary not only has 1 million members, all of whom who are business leaders and professional leaders, and all of whom who really want to make the world a better place by performing humanitarian service projects in such areas as water and sanitation, perhaps maternal and child health, basic literacy, and more. But we also promote high ethics and integrity in business. And so, but our number one priority in Rotary is the eradication of polio worldwide. And I'm pleased to say that since we started this effort with our partners, the Center for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, and UNICEF, and now Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, we have made tremendous strides, and right now only 3 countries have endemic polio, and those are Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India. And this year, so far, only 175 cases. That compares with 1985 when we started, when there were 1,000 cases every day.
Oh my gosh.
So we're this close, as we like to say.
Eradication is not a dream anymore. It's almost a reality. Charlotte, how long have you been a Rotarian, and why did you decide to become one?
I've been a Rotarian since the year 2000, and I came by invitation. My husband, Mike Harris, had been a Rotarian for close to 40 years at that point. So I was very familiar with the organization. He was in a different club than the club that I was invited to be a part of, but it gives you an opportunity to do something as a group, many people accomplishing something, you know, other than just boards and volunteering one-to-one.
Right, right. Describe the impact that Rotary has made on your life and the life of your family, Ernie, and the community.
Well, I'm really pleased. I think Rotary gives each of us an opportunity to make the world a better place, to improve the lives of the less fortunate, and to make a difference. And I've been really blessed. My wife is also a Rotarian, and we actually had an opportunity to participate in what's called a National Immunization Day in West Africa, in the country of Benin, where we actually immunized children. And I have to tell you, Vicki, that being able to put 2 drops in the mouth of a child.
And that's the way it is, no more.
That's all. No, it's drops. We're fortunate. Put the drops, and then I know that child will never have polio, will never have that terrible disease, and is now safe. That was a powerful experience for me, and I'm really fortunate to have been able to participate in that as part of Rotary.
Right, right. And what else do you do? I mean, as a group and an organization, what other service projects, let's say, have you worked on this past year, Charlotte?
Well, in our community, literacy is very, very important. We have, I think all of the local Rotary clubs, there's about 55 in our district, distribute dictionaries to 3rd graders through all the schools throughout the communities. We also are very involved in getting good fresh water, drinking water for individuals in other countries is important to us as well.
All right. And we are talking to Ernie and Charlotte from District 5500 Rotary. And if you are interested and want to learn more, please go to the website. It's District 5500, that's Southern Arizona, but it's a part of Rotary International. And the website is rotaryd5500.org. Aside from this great global eradication, talk a little about the partners that you mentioned, Bill and Melinda Gates, the CDC,
Yes.
and UNICEF. How, basically only in the last 27 years,
Yes.
right?
Yes, of course, each of the whole effort is called the Global Polio Eradication Effort, but Rotary is a major player in that effort, but those other organizations also. And Bill and Melinda Gates, of course, has contributed a great deal of money to it, giving Rotary itself $355 million, and we had to match that with $200 million.
From around the world.
Around the world. But the Gates Foundation gave us that because they trusted Rotary and knew that we were doing good things. For example, Rotary is the prime mover and the organizer and marshals the resources to do what's called a National Immunization Day. And for example, in India, even though there's no longer polio, we still conduct immunization days to keep vaccinating kids.
So then do Rotary...
You can vaccinate 150 million children in one day, and it's Rotary who organizes that and marshals those resources required to do that.
Wow. So you mentioned, so India is polio-free at least for the last
a year
couple
and a
of
half
years.
or so, almost 2
and
years.
So again, the other countries that still...
Sure. Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nigeria, and each of those countries has its own set of challenges. Obviously, there's a war going on in Afghanistan right along the border with Pakistan, and Nigeria has some issues with advocacy and government support. But just this week, yesterday was World Polio Day, by the way, and the president of Nigeria actually hosted a kind of a polio summit, and so I think we're going to see progress being made.
A lot of progress has been made, for sure. So the Ride to End Polio, Charlotte, talk about that and how did it start?
Sure. In 2008, when Bill and Melinda Gates gave the $350 million, they challenged Rotary to raise $200 million. And my husband knew that a lot of clubs are small. They're like 25 members, maybe fewer. And for them to be able to have an event to raise money for polio would be challenging. So we thought if Rotary was one of the 15 nonprofits that El Tour benefits, that we could get riders and people could support the riders. So he contacted Richard DiBernardis, who runs El Tour, and there was not room. And he kept on asking him, and finally there was room. So the first time that Rotary rode was in 2009, and there was just a handful, maybe 16, I think, Rotarians, raised about $5,000, and then the next year they raised, about $20,000, $30,000,
Wow.
and then last year they raised $100,000, and then the challenge this year is for $200,000 to be raised through this effort. And then once we take care of polio, then Rotary will ride for something else in El Tour, for water, for something
Could I
else.
share something?
Sure.
I would simply like to say that I'm not much of a bike rider, but because of my experience with the Polio National Immunization Day, and because Mike asked me to ride, I did. And the first 2 years, I think I rode about 60 miles each year. And I'm pleased to say that I was able to raise personally, I think, $12,000 for polio. But because I was inspired by all of my sponsors over the last 2 years, this year I'm committed to go 111 miles, and my goal is to raise $10,000 for polio.
Oh my gosh! So you you go out and get sponsors that
That's right.
pledge a certain amount of money.
That's right.
And then you've got you have to make sure that you complete the route, huh? But what is your training regimen?
Wow, that's a really good question, because a guy my age has to train a lot.
My age too.
So, but I ride about 5 or 6 days a week, and one long ride. For instance, this Sunday I rode 72 miles in an organized race, and finished in under 5 hours. So I was pleased with that. And the other rides are 20 or 25 miles or so, and those will increase maybe 10% a week until the race week. And on November 17th, I'll ride 111 miles.
That's right. So once again, we want to tell you we're talking to Rotary District 5500 about the work they do and the Ride to End Polio. And if you want to learn more about the El Tour ride and see how you can support these Rotarians, these riding Rotarians, please go to their website, rotaryd5500.org. So I also understand you have kind of a Rotarian celebrity joining you on this ride? Charlotte?
I'll let Ernie tell you
Okay.
about him since he enlisted him.
Oh, did you?
Well, I'm pleased to say that the Rotary International General Secretary, and that's the equivalent of the Chief Executive Officer of our overall Rotary group, they're headquartered in Evanston, Illinois. He joined Rotary, he took that job just a year and a half ago. We found out that he was an avid bike rider, often doing century rides himself, 100 miles. That's what riders call a 100-mile ride.
So you're teaching me some lingo here, Ernie.
Right. So he was, and so we asked him to come, and we're just so proud and pleased and honored, in fact, that he said yes, he would come. And not only that, but he is really helping us meet our goal this year to raise $200,000. He can marshal his own set of resources and contacts, and he's raising money throughout the Rotary world to help us meet our goal. And I would say that any one of your listeners who chose to contribute could do the same thing on the Rotary website, which is simply rotary.org.
Okay. All right. And I have to ask, Charlotte, are you a cyclist?
No, I'm not, and my husband wasn't either. He just saw
my
it
gosh.
as a way to raise money for polio, and he became a cyclist only during outdoor time, I would say.
And
when he did
you
ride.
haven't taken that step
No,
yet?
no, I have not.
You mentioned earlier, I think, Ernie, that a lot of Rotarians are business people, local business people, and professionals. How is that maybe connection in your Rotary group or in district Rotary, with many groups? How has that maybe enhanced your, connection in the community, or, made you able to do your job better?
What I would say, let me just answer it this way. When I ask Rotarians what you like about Rotary, what I usually hear is it's usually the service that we do in our community or around the world, or it's the fellowship that we share with the members. And so it's connecting, it's networking that provides these opportunities. With Rotary, you can leverage resources to accomplish far more than you could by yourself. I will share one example. My wife and I went to West Africa and visited many remote villages where they needed water. The women walked miles every day to get water, and there were pigs and cattle drinking there. Sally and I promised to help, and it was through Rotary, through the Rotary Foundation and Rotarians in clubs all over the world, that now more than 50 communities in Togo and Niger have access to clean water, improved health care, and better education as well.
Right. We only have about a minute, so when you're improving water supply in a remote African village that needs it, what exactly are you doing? Bringing in water treatment plant?
We drilled wells in many villages. I don't remember how many, but drilled wells, and so that these people had clean water right in their village, and the women didn't have to walk miles to get it. So it's Rotary making a difference, and that was a powerful experience for me too. I do feel like we were able to make a difference.
Right. So our time is up. It always goes fast. Thank you both so much. And remember, for Rotarians and their motto, service above self, something we all should live with. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You did a great job.